Okay, Komurasaki's timeline. So we're going to start with Hiyori. Yes, that's where this is going. Komurasaki was originally born Hiyori to Odin Kizuki and his wife Toki. However, after the Kaido's rule, Odin and Toki both died. However, Toki was able to save her son as well as some other retainers and send them to the future. However, Hiyori was left behind along with another retainer who, we don't know his name. Kinemon did name drop someone. I mean, he name dropped 3 people, and we know it's not Ashura Doji, but we don't know out of the other 2 names which one it is. Or maybe they did specify, and I just don't remember, but I don't think they did. Anyways, Hiyori is left with him, and due to it being too dangerous to have a child around because he is a target, he leaves her somewhere, not necessarily safe, but as safe as possible, and somewhere where she wouldn't have to just fend for herself. And that ended up being, it may not have been the Pleasure District right away. It could have been like in a small town and like maybe an orphanage or something like that. But eventually she was taken in and ended up living in the Pleasure District. He probably was there since he was a small child, and it's probably at this point that her name was changed to Komurasaki. She might have even worked under another prostitute at this time as well. Also, it's possible that the old woman that is training Robin could have been that prostitute. I mean, clearly she's not anymore. She's older in years, but the way she talks about Komurasaki kind of almost sounds like she's bragging about her, which I guess that could contribute to the fact that she's the most beautiful woman in their country, and not necessarily anything personal, but I don't know, it just kind of came across that way to me. Anyways, eventually, Komurasaki meets Koshiro. Now, Koshiro is the current owner of the prostitution ring. I don't think he always was, however, though he does have one of those faces where it could be like he can be of either age. Like he can be younger or he could be older. It's largely due to his very, very, very squinty eyes that kind of makes it hard for me personally to discern his age. But he looks like he might be on the younger end of the spectrum. So he could have had, like, say, a father or something that was the owner before him, and he just inherited the ownership of it. Something like that. Anyways, whether if he was the owner at the beginning or not, eventually him and Komurasaki do become more acquainted with each other. And he eventually learns that Komurasaki wants to get back at the Shogun and the rich people for what happened to her. Though I don't think Kirishiro is aware of the fact that Komurasaki is Hiyori. I think this is something he's oblivious to. I think he just knows that she has some sort of vendetta against him, against the Shogun. Actually, Kirishiro might not even be aware of the fact that Komurasaki is a supporter of the Kizuki clan, or an ally to the Kizuki clan, or whatever, because when he kills her, I'm doing the finger quotes if you can't tell in my voice, she's holding the pamphlet of the event and everything, of the rebellion, and he has like a mark over his head, like he was surprised to see it, so he might not even be aware of any of that. But I do think he is aware of the fact that Komurasaki wanted to get back at them, but due to her lack of strength, the only way she's able to do this is to steal money. So she cons people, she uses people, targets people, and steals their money. She steals from the rich, but she doesn't use the money for herself. She gives the money to the poor, or more accurately, she has somebody else give it to the poor. This person is the Witching Hour boy. Now, so Komurasaki is not the Witching Hour boy. She's not like the actual person that gives the money, but I do think that she is behind it. The person who actually is the Witching Hour boy might be someone that works under Kirishiro. Now, what does Kirishiro get out of this? Why would he help her steal money from others? Well, for one thing, it's possible he could get a cut of all of it, so that's like a plus for him. But I think his main objective, actually, is I think he's aiming for Shogun. I think Kirishiro wants to execute the current Shogun and claim his position. And this is actually something that could happen, like in actual Japan, or could have happened in actual Japan, whatever. Because the way a Shogun works is that it's passed down from father to son. However, if a Shogun is too weak, it is possible for an enemy for someone else to slay the shogun down and take over that position. So I think this is what Kirishiro wants to do. Of course, there's no evidence for this. I'm just throwing it out there. He might be aiming to become the next shogun. As for Komurasaki's death, I think that was kind of a fail-safe. I think when they went to the banquet, they went there initially just to be part of a longer con. I don't think they were going to try to kill him or steal from him right then or there, but Komurasaki was probably going to go with the shogun, probably going to go with Orochi and marry him, yada yada yada, and basically take that time of her being with him to con him out of all of his money. And that would have also given her time to scope his layout and stuff to give Kirishiro an opportunity to eventually execute him. And this is probably how she was going to escape him in the future, because she'd be married to him, so she'd be kind of trapped. But Kirishiro would kill him, which would free her. So I'm kind of thinking that might be the whole entire plan there. Of course, once again, there's no evidence that supports this. I'm just spitballing. So this isn't like a theory video or anything. It's just me spitballing about potential outcomes and what Komurasaki's ideas are. However, because of the rebellion and everything, I think her plan slightly changed. I do think that she wants to do whatever she can to help the poor because of the situation that she had to grow up in because of Orochi. And since he's not strong, she had to resort to stealing money. However, because of the rebellion, that gave her a chance to do something else, or she felt like it could have gave her a chance. And what she wanted to do was probably gather information, just like what Robin is doing. Because Komurasaki doesn't know anything about Robin or the Straw Hats or anything like that. So she probably wanted to gain information the same way Robin did. And she has this information as well. I mean, when Robin asked Orochi about Onigashima and whatever, that's when Orochi told Robin about all the stuff that she knows about. When Robin was going like, oh, I hardly got any information, and she got like everything. Like, that's when she learned that. She like just straight up asked the dude, and he just told her everything. So that's funny. But Komurasaki was there as well, so she also has this information. As for the death itself, it was, as I said, it's like a fail-safe. In case if something goes wrong in their initial plan and they need to get out of there without being captured or imprisoned or anything like that, or even killed, they would do something like this to cause their own death. So Kirishiro made it look like he killed Komurasaki in order to get her out of the castle safely because she was in danger. It's also possible that Kirishiro had a fail-safe for himself as well, like he would have killed himself or made it look like he killed himself in an event that something happened. But since it didn't, he didn't do that. Though it is possible he could commit like seppuku or make it look like he did because he killed her. But we don't see that, so I'm going to assume he didn't. So now that she is dead and getting out of the castle, she's probably going to sneak out of her own funeral with Kirishiro's help, most likely. And I'm assuming that since he's seen the rebellion thing, he's probably going to confront her about it. And I do think he will help her. I think in the end, he will help her. Because I don't think Kirishiro is going to be a bad guy. He looks like an obvious bad guy. So because of that, I think he's not going to be a bad guy. You know what I'm saying? I seriously don't. And I think that there's something that could even be going on between Komurasaki and Kirishiro as well, like some sort of a romance kind of thing. So he might help her for that reason alone. So I do think that both gonna appear in the rebellion. So to recap, Hiyori lost both of her parents, was taken by the man in the Amagasa hat, left somewhere, eventually ended up at the prostitution ring where she was served under prostitutes, one of which could have been the old woman that is training Ramen to become a geisha. And her name was changed to Komurasaki. She later met Kirishiro. The two plotted together, Komurasaki to steal money from the rich and give to the poor through the witching hour boy, and Kirishiro to become the shogun. However, due to a flaw in their plan, aka Toko laughing when she shouldn't have been, Komurasaki had to fake her death. However, they're both probably going to appear in the rebellion on the side of the Kizuki family. Okay, so that's all I got. See you when I see you. Bye.